Have you ever felt it? That spark, that sudden, brilliant flash of fascination. Maybe you were a child and you saw a monarch butterfly alight on a milkweed plant, and suddenly nothing else mattered. You had to know everything. You spent the rest of the summer in a library, your nose in books about caterpillars and chrysalises, your fingers sticky from building little milkweed sanctuaries and shoeboxes. Or maybe it was a year later, you heard a song, a single chord progression, and it was like a key turning in a lock deep inside of you. You picked up a dusty guitar, your fingers were clumsy, the sound was terrible, but you didn't care. The world dissolved into the hum of the strings, the patient, repetitive work of teaching your hands to speak the language your heart now understood. This electric current of captivated energy, this joyful driving impulse that says, this, more of this. Let me understand this. Let me try this. Let me get good at this. This energy is one of the most vital, life-affirming forces we can experience. And yet, in our hurried, efficiency-obsessed world, we've almost forgotten how to honor it. We dismiss it as a hobby. We postpone it for someday. That day never comes. We let the fear of not being good enough snuff it out before it can even catch fire. Now, what if I told you that this energy is not a fleeting feeling? What if it's a fundamental part of our design, a sacred language our soul uses to tell us where our genius lies, where our joy is buried, and how we are meant to contribute to the world? Today, I would like to explore this energy with you. In a framework I use, a descriptive language for the human experience called human design. This energy has a name in this framework. It's called simply Gate 16. Others call it the gate of skills, or perhaps the gate of enthusiasm. Now, don't get hung up on the terms. Think of human design not as a rigid box that defines you or predicts you, but as a breathtaking detailed language, a map of your energetic landscape. It has centers, which are like energy hubs in our body. Following through them are 64 themes, or what we call gates. And we have access to all 64 of these themes. You don't have to have gate 16, quote, defined in your personal chart to know the feeling I'm talking about. Definition simply points to consistency, your energetic nature. But nurture, your life, your choices, your environment, your relationships, profoundly shapes your own relationship with every single one of these themes. We are all developing a relationship with this particular energy of enthusiasm. Gate 16 lives in what is called the throat center, which is the hub of expression, of communication and manifestation. It's a voice that cries out, I experiment. It's the energy that takes an idea and says, let's try it, let's practice it, let's refine it until it sings. The energy is part of what's called the collective logic circuit. That just means its purpose is meant to be shared. It's about testing and perfecting patterns for the good of the whole tribe. It's the drive that compels a scientist to run an experiment for one more time. A chef to tweak a recipe until it's perfect. A teacher to refine a lesson plan until it ignites understanding in her students. And like any energy, we can think of its expression in our lives like adjusting sliders on a mixing board. First, there's the intensity slider. How strongly do you feel it? Is it a gentle curiosity or an all-consuming passion that keeps you up at night? There's a frequency slider. How often does it show up? Does it come in rare, powerful bursts, or is it a steady, rhythmic hum in your life? And most importantly, there's the quality slider. This is where we have the most influence. This is the journey from shadow to the gift, to the highest expression of this energy. The shadow, first, let's talk about that. Of Gate 16, ironically, it's called indifference. It's a tragic state, a fire turned to ash. It manifests in a few ways. It can be a flat-out apathy. The person who, out of fear of failure or past ridicule, says, I don't care about anything, really. It's the brilliant singer who, after being told they weren't good enough once, now just shrugs, that, I don't do that anymore. The enthusiasm maybe is still there, but it's buried alive under a tombstone of protective indifference. Another face of this shadow is scattered energy, the perpetual beginner, the person who enthusiastically starts a dozen projects, buys all the gear, tells everyone about their new passion, and then, the moment the initial rush fades and the real work of practice begins, they get bored. They drop it. Their enthusiasm is a series of sparks that never catches flame. They become a jack of all trades, but a master of none. Not in the celebratory, versatile sense, but in a way that leaves them feeling hollow, their potential spread so thin it disappears. The journey out of the shadow begins with a single courageous act: to allow yourself to care again. To gently and tenderly give one of your interests the gift of your sustained attention. And when you do that, you begin to unlock the gift of Gate 16, which is usually called versatility. This is not the scattered dabbling of the shadow. This is the joyful, engaged competence of the Renaissance soul. The person who learns to play the guitar and finds the rhythm helps their painting, who takes up gardening and discovers that their patience learned there makes them a better parent. They are multi-talented, fascinated individuals whose skills cross-pollinate, creating a rich and resilient life. They embody the wisdom that you don't have to be the world's foremost expert to share your gift. You have to be the one step ahead of the person you're helping. Their enthusiasm is no longer brittle. It's flexible, adaptable, and deeply engaged. They are the living embodiment of Leonardo da Vinci's spirit, who famously said, "Learning never exhausts the mind." Versatility. They find joy not just in the destination of mastery, but in the very process of the journey. And now, the highest expression, the pinnacle of this energy's quality, it's called mastery. But this isn't the ego's mastery of, look how great I am. This is a sacred state. It's when the skill becomes so refined it turns into art. The art becomes so selfless, it turns into service. The service becomes so devotional, it turns into a form of prayer. The master artisan is no longer thinking about the tool. They are the tool, in the hands of a higher intelligence. Their work becomes a conduit for grace. It is the composer Johann Sebastian Bach, a man of profound faith, singing his manuscripts with Soli Deo Gloria, or to the glory of God alone. His staggering skill was not for his own fame, it was an offering. His mastery became worship. This is when our enthusiasm is fully consecrated. But Gate 16 rarely does its work alone. In the beautiful complexity of our design, it has a harmonic partner, a gate that it dances with, and without which it can feel incomplete. This is Gate 48. It's in the Awareness Center, often called the Gate of Depth. Imagine Gate 48 as a deep, mysterious well. It holds profound, intuitive knowledge, patterns, and potential solutions. But it's just still water. It has no voice. A person with only Gate 48 can feel a frustrating sense of, I know so much, but I can't explain it. I have the answer, but I can't get it out. They carry a deep fear of inadequacy, a feeling that they never know enough. Now imagine Gate 16, our gate of enthusiasm. By itself, it's like a beautiful, ornate fountain with no water source. It has all the mechanics for a brilliant display, all the desire to perform, all the enthusiasm to express, but it can feel shallow. It might ask, what am I even supposed to be skilled at? Where do I find the substance? Now, connect them. When the well of gate 48 connects to the fountain of gate 16, they form the channel of the wavelength. And something almost magical happens. Depth gets a voice. Enthusiasm gets substance. This is the design of what we call talent. The person with this connection has an intuitive sense of what needs to be practiced and the enthusiastic drive to do it. Their learning curve can seem breathtaking, but even here, that fear of inadequacy from gate 48 can linger, fueling an endless quest for perfection. It's the artist who never feels their masterpiece is finished. The journey for them is to trust that what they have right now is enough to share, even as they continue to refine. It's crucial to understand this stance. If you feel that enthusiastic spark of gate 16, but you feel the lack of depth, you are naturally drawn to seek it. You'll be the one taking classes, finding mentors, reading voraciously, looking at the wellspring of knowledge. You are seeking gate 48. If you feel you have that deep well of knowledge but can't express it, you crave the energy of gate 16. You need an outlet, a stage, an invitation to share what you know. We see this dance everywhere. The brilliant researcher, that's gate 48, who partners with a charismatic CEO, well, that would be gate 16, to bring an invention to the world. Or the wise elder, 48, whose stories are finally written down by the passionate grandchild, 16. It's a sacred partnership. This is different. This is different from, say, gate 14, another energy often associated with skills. Gate 14 is in the sacral center, the primal motor of life force. It's about having the power and resources to fuel great work, often through skills. But gate 16 is the joyful expression and logical refinement of the skill itself, shouted from the rooftops of the throat center for all to hear and see. To feel the spirit of this gate in our culture, we need only to listen to the poet who heard its song in our nation. This is Walt Whitman, who wrote I Hear America Sing. I hear America singing. The varied carols I hear, those of mechanics, each one singing his as it should be, the blithe and strong. The carpenter singing his as he measured his plank or beam. The mason singing his as he makes ready for work or leaves off work. The boatman singing what belongs to him in his boat. The deckhand singing on the steamboat deck. The shoemaker singing as he sits on his bench, the hatter singing as he stands, each singing what belongs to him or her and to none else. The day what belongs to the day. At night the party of young fellows, robust, friendly, singing with open mouths their strong melodious songs. That is the collected, joyful, skillful song of gate 16, the dignity and delight of the craft well practiced. So how do we cultivate this in our own lives, especially when we feel blocked or when our enthusiasm has been wounded? We must learn to listen to what I call the counsel of our inner authority. Within you, every energy has a voice, but they are not all meant to take and make that final decision. Gate 16 is a passionate and persuasive advisor on your inner counsel. It's the voice that says, this is exciting. This is where growth is. Let's do this. But its vibrant counsel must be weighed by the head of your counsel, your true inner authority. Now, if you have emotional authority, you must wait for that passion of the moment to settle into clear, calm knowing. On the sacral authority, you must wait for the deep, guttural, yep, response before committing your energy. Gate 16 provides the what, but your authority tells you the when and if. By honoring this inner process, You ensure your enthusiasm is invested wisely, in alignment with your deepest truth, preventing burnout and false starts. In my own tradition, we look at the life of Jesus Christ as the ultimate archetype, the flawless highest expression of every single one of these 64 themes. Think about it. We call him the master teacher. His parables are masterpieces of communication, taking profound spiritual truth and making it accessible through simple earthly stories. A stunning display of skillful expression. The scriptures say he, quote, grew in wisdom and stature, suggesting a mortal process of learning and refinement. And what did he do with his mastery? Well, he consecrated it completely, stating, quote, I can of my own self do nothing. I seek not mine own will, but the will of the Father which hath sent me. Here we see the ultimate template for Gate 16, the joyful development of our God-given gifts, not for ego or glory, but offered back in love and service to the divine, to our fellow human beings. When we see it this way, the pressure of perfectionism dissolves. Our practice is no longer about proving our worth. It's about polishing a gift we are going to give away. It becomes an act of love. This perspective doesn't just belong to one tradition. Across faiths and philosophies, the great teachers tell us the same thing. Find your gift, hone it with discipline, and use it to alleviate suffering and increase the light in the world. This is where human design, which can seem so mystical, points us back to the most eternal and foundational truths. It gives us a new language to understand our divine nature and our role in the grand collaborative project of creation. Here is another poem that captures the sacred journey of becoming. It speaks to the soul of anyone who has ever tried to shape something raw into something beautiful. We'll call it the Song of the Willing Apprentice. I sing the song of the willing apprentice, a soul aflame with 1,000 curiosities, each day an invention to craft myself anew. I have tasted the sweat of effort and found it sweet. When I fall into bed, mind buzzing with new ideas, my heart prays, thank you for letting me build and explore. Thank you for the small epiphanies. The knot finally untied, the tune finally in tune. Let my life be a psalm of progression. Let my work be my worship. Each nail I drive, each note I play. Offered up on thine altar with grateful praise. For you are the source of every talent, the secret of every skill. I do not fear the long road, the 1,000 repetitions, for I see infinite possibilities stretched before me, and my soul shouts yes. Yes to the refining fire. Yes to the sacred struggle. Yes to the oneness I feel lost in my labor and found in thy service. Make me an instrument finely tuned, ready to play thy melody. For in this workshop of the world, what I am truly building is not a thing but a soul, not a skill but a self, worthy to stand at last in the presence of the Master. So I ask you again, what is your spark? What is the interest, the skill, the secret love that you have perhaps buried under the weight of the shoulds and the can'ts? I invite you to find it, to make a little space for it, to honor it. You don't need to quit your job or change your life overnight. Just begin. Dedicate 10, 15 minutes a day to that dusty guitar, that forgotten sketchbook, that language you always wanted to learn. Treat it not as a frivolous indulgence, but as a spiritual practice, an act of faith in your own design. Because your enthusiasm is not random. It's a homing beacon, a divine whisper pointing you toward the unique way you are meant to shine. In a world hungry for authenticity, for craftsmanship, for genuine passion, your cultivated skill is a gift beyond measure. So go, experiment, practice, refine, share, fail, and learn, and try again. Sing your own strong, melodious song. because we, the collective, are waiting to hear it. And when you sing with the full force of your practice, passionate and consecrated heart, you give the rest of us the courage to sing ours too. And with that, I thank you and a good night.